The CSET multiple subjects exam has a total of 3 subtests, subtest 1, 2, and 3, and they all have one thing in common, the essay section. And in this video, I'm going to teach you step by step how to write your written response on test day so that you get a passing score. Hey there, my name is Elliot Zelinskis. I'm your fellow California credentialed teacher. I've already taken the CSET exam myself, and now I want to help you pass too. If you need to take the CSET, invest in test prep that makes passing simple. Just go to teacherpreps.com, click on the blue button, and enroll to get instant access today. This lesson includes a total of 6 parts. We're going to first start with the subject's overview. What is subtest 1, 2, and 3? And we're going to move to mastering your scoring rubric. And then I'm going to teach you buzzwords to use for subtest 1, 2, and 3, each domain that you can plug right into your essays in order to get a higher score. And then I want to teach you my 5-step framework that helped me pass, and I know it can do the same for you too. Then I want to share with you an essay checklist that I created that helps me double check before I hit that scary submit button to make sure that everything you've written has all the checks needed. And then finally, I'm going to do a demonstration where I write and I show you what a proper written response looks like. So if you need to pass your CSET multiple subjects exam, you have found the right place. Let's start this lesson. Beginning with our exam overview, where again, we know that there are 3 subtests to the CSET test. The first one is all about English and social studies. Subtest 2 is our math and science test. And then subtest 3 asks us to demonstrate our awareness, our understanding of physical education, human development, and visual arts. The essay framework that I'm giving to you in this video still requires that you demonstrate a thorough understanding of the content specifications, knowledge, and skills listed in subtest 1, 2, and 3. And if you're looking for a study guide, make sure you pick up the one on teacherpreps.com where I created a bullet point, non-fluff style study guide that helps you study the right material and get prepared fast. Now, in order to know how to write our essays for test day, we need to master the scoring rubric. Starting with the bottom, we're going to receive a score of B if we leave our response completely blank. And we don't want to do this. This happens most often when people run out of time. Now, the scoring rubric above B is U, and this is if you wrote something that's totally off topic. Again, we don't want to do that either. Above U is 1, and we don't want a 1 because that shows we have a minimal understanding of the content that we wrote in our essays. But above 1 is scored 2. And this shows a good grasp of knowledge and skills, and a score of 2 is acceptable. However, in order to get the most amount of points to have the best chance to pass, we want to shoot for a score of 3. And this shows our thorough understanding and application for the essay prompt that we wrote about. Next, let's go to the CSET buzzwords. And again, CSET buzzwords are domain specific. For example, in subtest 1, there are 2 different domains. First, we have the social studies, and second, we have the English, language arts, and linguistics section. So now I want to provide you with a list of words, and what I recommend for you to do is remember 2 words from each of these lists so that you just put them in your pocket, and on test day, you can find a place to plug them into your essays. I did this, and it really helped my essay scores too. So let's start with the subtest 1 English prompts. When you take your subtest 1, you'll more than likely receive 2 English questions on subtest 1, and find a place where you can use words like analyze, context, syntax, themes, narratives, diction, metaphor, symbolism, tone, or genre. Now, if you don't already have your notebook and pen out, make sure you're writing these down. As I always say in these videos, the more active you use these videos, the better chance that you will have to pass on test day. So now for subtest 1, social studies domain, think about using words like democracy, civilization, cultural diffusion, economic systems, geopolitical, historical context, nationalism, revolution, social hierarchy, migration. Now let's go on to subtest number 2, starting with the mathematics section. Key buzzwords that might be a fit for your prompt include algebraic expressions, geometric shapes, probability, measurement units, mathematical reasoning, number theory, fractions and decimals, data analysis, problem-solving strategies, and equations and inequalities. Now for subtest 2, let's go to science. Buzzwords might include ecosystems, photosynthesis, atomic structure, energy transfer, plate tectonics, chemical reactions, biological evolution, properties of matter, scientific method, or renewable resources. All right, moving on to subtest number 3, we're going to start with the domain of physical education. Here, you might want to use words like motor skills, physical fitness, cardiovascular health, muscular strength, flexibility training, kinesthetic awareness, aerobic exercise, nutrition and wellness, sportsmanship, or injury prevention. Great. Now let's move on to the human development domain of subtest 3. You could be using words like cognitive development, socio-emotional growth, Piaget's stages, Erikson's psychosocial theory, attachment theory, adolescence, nature versus nurture, learning styles, developmental milestones, or Vygotsky's sociocultural theory. And finally, for subtest 3, let's move on to the last domain, which is visual and performing arts. In this section, you can expect to receive one question on subtest 3, where you can use words that will create a buzz with the person, the scorer who's reading your essay response, and that might include words like aesthetic principles, composition techniques, visual elements such as line, shape, color, performance styles, artistic mediums, cultural influences, art history movements, creative expression, critique methodologies, or spatial relationships. And now the part that we've all been waiting for, how to write the essay. And in this section, I'm going to take myself off the screen so we have more space to read the prompt and the response. Here we have the beginning for our 5-step essay writing framework, where in step number 1, we dissect the prompt, where in this step, your job is to really analyze the word usage that the test administrators have used in their essay prompt. Next, I'm going to show a sample prompt I created that comes from our CSET Subtest 1 test prep. Follow along as I read the sample prompt aloud. The directions state, follow the reading excerpt for a speech by a fictional educator, Mr. Fielding, at the opening of a new school. Then complete the exercise that follows. Education, like the sunrise, dispels the shadows of ignorance. Each student is akin to a dormant seed buried in the soil, awaiting the nurturing rays of knowledge to awaken its potential. As the sun's rays coax the seedling from the earth's embrace, so too does education encourage the mind to grow beyond the confines of its shell. Let there be growth is the silent plea of every curious soul. And with each lesson, we answer that call. Write a response in which you describe the metaphor used in the passage and analyze the impact of specific word choices on the imagery in the excerpt. Be sure to cite specific evidence from the text. So, this is a constructed response similar in style and length that you can expect to receive in your CSET test. According to step 1 of the writing framework, we need to dissect the prompt, and here we're asked to describe a metaphor and analyze the impact of specific word choices. The metaphor compares education to the sunrise, and we'll explore how this imagery enhances the message. So, to confirm, step number 1 is a thinking stage. This is where we take a moment to make sure that we understand what's being asked of us. Now let's move on to step number 2, which is to structure your response, including our introduction and analysis. So for this prompt, we need to start with an introduction that presents the metaphor of education as sunrise. Here's my introduction that I wrote. In the given excerpt from Jonathan Fielding's speech, the central metaphor equates the process of education with the sunrise's effect on a seed. Notice here how I clearly answer the first prompt in the first sentence. Make sure to do that on test day. Now I'll go a bit deeper to show the test scorers my understanding. This metaphor illustrates the concept that education serves to dispel ignorance, just as the sunrise dispels darkness, suggesting that knowledge is a light that enables growth. Great, now let's add my analysis of how dormant seed and nurturing rays from the prompt contribute to the imagery presented in that original essay prompt. The use of dormant seed to describe a student highlights the potential within that awaits the enlightening power of education, implying that students have inherent capabilities that education can nurture. All right, we're doing great, and now let's wrap up with a conclusion that ties our analysis back to the prompt in step 3, where we embed concrete evidence. For this prompt, I'll use dormant seed and nurturing rays to illustrate by highlighting dormant seed. Here's what I wrote next. The imagery invoked by nurturing rays and awaken its potential emphasizes the gentle yet powerful influence of education, drawing a parallel with how sunlight encourages a seed to grow. These word choices create a vivid picture of education as a natural and essential force for development, reinforcing the theme of education being as vital to the mind as sunlight is to life. The plea, "Let there be growth," further personifies the student's innate desire for learning, with the educator's role being to fulfill this need through each lesson. All right, great. And notice here how I started a new paragraph because I'm answering the second essay prompt. So, moving on to step number 4, which is craft a conclusive synthesis. In this essay prompt, I need to reinforce the metaphor's significance with my final sentence. So here we go. The language used not only conveys the educator's philosophy, but also underscores the transformative nature of education as an agent of personal and intellectual growth. And in our final step, step number 5, we review our work in order to make sure that we have written clearly with coherence, and of course, we make sure that we've answered the prompt. So to do this, I use a simple checklist where before I submit my exam, I double check, is the prompt fully addressed? Key terms defined? Arguments supported by examples? Structure clear and logical? Grammar and spelling correct? However, I'm not just going to tell you that this works. I'm going to show you that this response would get you a perfect score on test day. Come follow me into Teacher Prep's AI Writing Workshop. All right, great. So in order to access the test prep, I just went to teacherpreps.com. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the login button and I'm going to enter my credentials. And then, all right, great. So here is the Teacher Prep's CSET multiple subjects test prep. This is our landing page, a little welcome page. I'm going to scroll down. If you can see the left navigation bar, here we have subtest 1 study materials, subtest 2 study materials, and then subtest 3 study materials. But this prompt that I used came from subtest 1, so I'm going to click right here. It says subtest 1 essay grader. Now we can see that this is an AI-powered essay writing workshop. You might be thinking, what is that? Just in 3 simple steps. You read the essay prompt, which is right down below. You write your essay response, and then you get an instant grade from AI. And now this AI was trained on the exact scoring rubric, the one that you see on your screen, that you're scored against on test day. This is by far the best opportunity for you to practice writing and see, are you really writing at a level 3, a level 2, a level 1? And you can gauge how well you're writing for test day. All right, so what I'm going to do, here is the constructed response number 1, and as you can see, it's the same prompt that you and I just went over in that lesson. So education like sunrise, we just read it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste the response that I wrote in the slides that we just completed together. So again, it says write the response, and we have little instructions right here. Type your constructed response directly into the field below, which is right here. So I'm just going to type this now. As you can see, this is what we wrote in the lesson. In the given excerpt from Jonathan Fielding's speech, the central metaphor, we wrote this together. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the submit button, and our AI essay grader is going to instantly give us a response. So looks like I got a score of 3. They give me justification, but I want to show you that it depends on what you write, because not every grade will give you, or not every input or response will give you a grade 3. Actually, it's really hard to get a grade 3. So I'm just going to refresh the page, and let's say I go down here and I say something that's totally not related. So for example, like, Elliot likes skateboarding and eating pizza. Let's see what the AI grader gives us. Score of B, right? This response is off topic. So again, you have to write a actual response, and it literally grades based off the same score and rubric that you're scored against on test day. So I really hope that this helps you pass your CSET test. And if you want test prep that's interactive, fun, engaging, and everything you need in one place, go to teacherpreps.com. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.